total of 9 years of experience into the LIMS. Out of that, I worked 5 years for the pharma company, and now I'm working with the IT company. I'm working as a LIMS consultant, and so I will tell you my journey about the career also, like how I switched from pharma to IT, and what I learned throughout my career. So before that, let's quickly introduce yourself. I just wanted to know of, your years of experience and from which field you are. So anybody can start. See, this should be the interactive session. So let's know about each other, and then we will conduct the session.
Myself Shashikant Vishwakarma. I am working in the pharmaceutical. I have experience of 12 years, and currently I am looking the lab LIMS project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Shashikant.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. This is Nandini. I'm currently working in Strides Pharma. Now I'm looking forward to learn about still more about LIMS.
Okay. Next.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Yes.
This is Sundar.
I've been working in pharma. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Swati.
Okay. This is Swati, and I've been working in pharma since 4 years, and I'm looking forward to learn this LIMS administrative or end user administrative thing, and get some knowledge on this. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Sundar, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Myself Sundar. I'm working in Apotex pharmaceutical company. I have 6 years of experience. Here I am supporting information services to quality and R&D system. So I want to learn LIMS administration levels. So
Okay.
that's it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Next.
Hi, I'm Shaktivel. I'm working in pharmaceutical company for past 10 years. I'm looking for learn the LIMS administration.
Okay. Who else left? Okay. So I guess all of you from pharma background only, right? So nice to have a people from pharma background, because I also came from pharma background. I used to work I started my career in the pharma from the Cipla Limited, and then after that I switched my companies in the pharma only, and then in pharma only I started working on the LIMS and started getting knowledge. I worked on the multiple LIMS like Caliber, Labware, LabVantage, Thermo Fisher Sample Manager, like that. So right now I'm working with IT company, and I'm working as a LIMS consultant. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen and let's start the session. Please let me know if my screen is visible.
No, it's not visible. Yeah, now it's visible.
Now it's visible, sir.
Okay, it's visible to everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we will see what will be the today's agenda. So this is the demo agenda for today. We will see introduction of the LIMS. We will start with the history of LIMS. Then we will go to the LIMS contents. And then we will see how LIMS works, guidelines for successful LIMS implementation, then LIMS workflow diagram, and then LIMS functionalities. After that, we will see some LIMS advantages and disadvantages. And later we will see general awareness about LIMS modules, environments, master data management, and LIMS roles. Okay. So let's start. From the introduction, I get to know that most of you people are aware about the LIMS, right? I think at the in your laboratory you have handled the LIMS, or at least you have saw that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So yeah. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, good. So this is the history of laboratory data management. So prior to 80s, all laboratories and small laboratories and big laboratories also using the pen, paper, and slide rule calculations. They are using the large bound books for the data storage and sample tracking. So that was a very tedious method, and it was taking a lot of time. It was taking a lot of manpower. So the productivity is very less, and there are a lot of chances of the loss of data, right? So after 80s, that expensive handheld calculators were used, and sophisticated software also used. And I guess in 1980, the first generation LIMS were available, and that was available on the mini computers, right? So in this decade from 80 to 90, laboratories, small laboratories were still using the old methods, but some big laboratories were switched to LIMS, which is available on many computers. After 1990, so that LIMS were used on the personal computers using the databases, and then analytical reports evolved from ground mail to overnight deliveries, right? So this is how LIMS getting evolved, and in the 21st centuries now we know that this is the digitalization, digital era. So now every laboratory using the laboratory information management system, and there are some advantages also, and there are some requirements from the regulatory bodies also, like US FDA. They are encouraging laboratories to use this particular software, right? So we will see why they are encouraging laboratories to use this software, and why all the laboratories getting switched from manual work to automated softwares. Okay. So what is LIMS? So this is just not a laboratory information management system. So the system which effectively manages samples and data related to that particular sample to improve the lab efficiency. If you see in the laboratory, initially before the LIMS, all the laboratories were using the worksheets to enter all the results, all the data related to that particular sample, and there was no workflow also, like allocation, review, then approval, like this, and it was not traceable in which phase that particular sample is going. So now this LIMS, when this LIMS come, it started effectively manage the samples, and it was capturing the all the related data to that particular samples, and it is very easy to store that data and very easy to track that data, right? So it automatically improves the lab efficiency. LIMS automates workflows, integrate instruments, and manage samples. So LIMS, as I said, it automates workflows, like from sample registration to release of the COA. This workflow is automated throughout the LIMS. Then it also integrate with other instruments, other softwares also. Like LIMS can be integrate with other instruments, like your balance, weighing balance, your HPLC, GC, all other instruments available in the laboratory. Also, it can be integrated with the ERP systems like SAP, and it manages the samples and related to all the information that to that sample. So LIMS produce accurate, reproducible results, faster and more reliable, right? So This is very accurate. LIMS produces very accurate results. There are no chances for the transcriptional errors. There are no chances for the wrong data entry because there are some checks which stopping the analyst to enter the wrong results, and it reproduces the results like so since there are no chances getting the wrong data entered, it will reproduce the correct results. It is very faster. If the integration is there, then obviously it will be get faster. You just have to go to the weighing balance and you just have to take the weight and it automatically capture the weight. So just by one click. So it is very faster than the manual work, right? Makes data from sequencing runs easier to store, track, access over time and across experiment. So like I said, it stores the data with for the particular sample life cycle. We can track that data anytime, anywhere in that particular software, and we can access over time and across experiments. Evaluate and improve operational efficiency. So this, because of this faster and this is software is more reliable, the productivity is also very high, right? So it will automatically evaluate and improve the operational efficiency also, right? So do you have any question here? We can have this interactive session. So if you have any question, you can ask me right there. No need to wait. Anybody? Okay. Okay, then we can move forward. So in this session, we will see the LIMS contents like the customers, collection sites, preservatives, analysis methods, employees' passwords, test and test results, bottle types, sample matrix, parameters and control limits. LIMS also includes sample tracking, like sophisticated query searching, instrument integration, powerful reporting functionality, integrated bar coding for the packing material, integrated QA/QC functions, full audit trail, and enterprise system integration, right? So we will see this LIMS content in this particular demo session. So this is the flowchart for the LIMS, how this LIMS works. So the first will be the plan. So before proceeding for any work, before going to start any work, we have to prepare a plan for that particular work, and then we can start that, right? So just like that, in the LIMS, we have to prepare a plan like masters, workflows, all the credentials with the their job levels, test, parameter, method, sampling points, specification, that everything should be already there before going forward. So then it will not stop you from the going ahead. So you have that plan, it will already there, so you can go ahead. After that, you will this register. So after that, after the planning, you will register the sample. You will receive the sample. Then you can store the sample. Then you can also do the routing of the particular sample. Okay. After that, after registration of that sample, that job work allocation will be there, right? So when the sample comes to the QC laboratory, that particular team leader will allocate that sample throughout the analyst for the particular to perform the particular test, right? So this is the work allocation, and this is the job done getting here. After that, that analyst will go and perform the analysis for the particular test for the particular sample, and then he will do all the analysis. He will check all the parameters, all the results, and then he will feed that particular results into the system. And after that, the QA part will come, like quality assurance. In that particular part, all the results will be reviewed, and when it meets with the criteria or meet with the specification, all the tests will be approved or reject. Okay. and there are some chances also for retesting. So that will be decided into the particular QA session. After that, you will get the reports. After approving all the results, after approving the samples, the last part will be the generation of the reports like COA, invoice quotation, then web services exports like Excel or PDFs. Also in this particular software, we can generate the labels also. Okay, so any doubt here? Any doubt in the LIMS work, how LIMS works? Okay, okay. Okay, so let's see the basic guidelines for the successful LIMS implementation. So there are actually two types of job in the market. Let me come to this point. So there are two types of job in the market, like end user. One is end user and one is consultant. Like whatever I'm doing right now, I'm a LIMS consultant. So IT industry is looking for such candidates who have the pharmaceutical background and also very well aware about the software, this LIMS software. So when any laboratory approach them for the implementation of this particular software, implementation of the LIMS, then we as a consultant become a mediator between the pharmaceutical companies and the IT companies. So because we have both the knowledges from both the fields, right? So we take the inputs from the pharma companies or laboratories, and we provide them to the IT companies, and then we get it developed, that software, and get it implemented into the particular laboratory. So these two types of major job roles are available in the markets right now. So this particular course will help you to guide what kind of job you are going to apply, right? So before implementation, we have to follow some guidelines: business case preparation, collect and organize user requirements. Before implementation, organization should have the user requirements, segment and prioritize. There are three priorities: development of functional specification, then evaluation of vendor responses. We can say as gap analysis, configuration, customization, integration, validation and testing, planning and maintenance. So basically there are multiple vendors available into the market, right? So choosing the vendor, that is also very big task. Like initially I said, there are Star LIMS, Caliber LIMS, Labware LIMS, LabVantage LIMS, Thermo Fisher, Sample Manager. So there are multiple types of vendors available into the market. So then that also part comes to successful LIMS implementation by choosing the right vendor. Okay. So here are some key messages. Good information management system will ensure all data, the final product of the laboratory, is well managed. Right. Any good information management system will always ensure all the data for the particular final product of the laboratory is well managed and cannot be tampered. Ensure confidentiality and the privacy of the patient information. So this is the very critical part of any pharma company or any clinical trial or any chemical laboratory. So that particular information cannot be shared with anybody else, or that should be the confidential. Incorporate all the laboratory businesses processes as a part of in the system. Assure the accessibility, accuracy, timelines, and security of the data. So this particular LIMS assures the accessibility of that particular sample, particular test, particular workflow, and the accuracy of the particular data, timelines, and the security of the data. So it have the huge database to store all the data related to that particular software. So that cannot be managed. Okay. So streamline sample tracking and sample workflow in the clinical laboratory. So like I said, it have the audit trail, so you can track each and every sample and its workflow into that LIMS. So if any analyst is doing analysis and it's stuck between somewhere in between somewhere, but he is on the leave other day, then it is very difficult to and if he is not reachable, then it is very difficult to track the sample where it is stuck, right? So in the audit trail, you can simply check the audit trail and you can simply track the sample. Any doubt here till now? Okay, let's assume and move forward. So this is the workflow of the LIMS. So initially LIMS registration will be carried out, then workflow management. After that, the test configuration like allocation and performing the testing, results input, result validation, and report generation. So this is nothing but the flow of the LIMS. Okay. So like this. In the QC laboratory, sample will be received, then it will be registered, and then this particular sample will be prepared and it will be allocated to the analyst. Then analyst will perform the testing. After the testing, it will be reviewed and validated. After the review and validation, that particular test or particular sample will be approved. After that, the reporting part will be carried out and then it will go to the archival. So in this particular area, after the testing, there are some chances for the retest also. So again, this will repeat the flow. Okay. Okay. So let's see the functionalities of LIMS. Divided into 5 laboratory processing phase, the reception and login of the sample and associated customer data. To log in the sample into the LIMS, before that we should have the data into that LIMS, like which product we are going to register, what is the customer data. We have to already feed that data into the LIMS, right? So if it is not possible, you directly go there and register the sample. At least system have to know which sample you are going to register. So that pre-filled already available data should be there. Then the assignment, scheduling, and tracking of the sample and the associated analytical workload, right? After registration and reception, the assignment, scheduling, and tracking of the sample and associated with the analytical workload. The processing and quality control associated with the sample and the utilized equipment in the inventory, right? The storage of data associated with the sample analysis. So this is one of the functionality in the LIMS, like all the data related to the particular sample analysis, it is stored into the LIMS and anyone can access anytime. The inspection, approval, and compilation of the sample data for reporting and further analysis, right? So this is the functionalities of the LIMS, and there are some additional functionalities also we can see here. Audit management. So this is the very important functionality we can say from the perspective of the audit, from the perspective of the regulatory bodies. So they will, when audit happens in the pharmaceutical laboratories, auditors will directly check the audit management. So they will know what happened with the particular life cycle of the particular sample, right? So that can be the additional function of the LIMS. Then barcode handling, chain of custody, compliance. So this, like I said, so this is the GXP guidelines. The GXP guidelines are there for the pharma company have to follow. So related to that compliance, this is the functionality of the LIMS. Customer relationship management, document management, instrument calibration, and maintenance. So here, like instrument calibration and maintenance also can be carried into the LIMS, right? So there are some daily, monthly, quarterly, half yearly, and yearly calibrations and maintenance happen into the pharmaceutical laboratories or for the particular instruments like HPLC, GC. Balance also daily calibrations are there. So this LIMS will LIMS have the functionality of that particular task also. Like when when any instrument is being used, it should be calibrated according to the guidelines. But if that is not calibrated, then LIMS will give the warning to perform the calibration, and it will not allow user to use that particular equipment or instrument, right? Then inventory and equipment management. Here we can manage inventory also. We have the provision to store all the data related to that particular inventory. Like there are some HPLC columns, like some costly working standard, reference standards are there. So after the usage of that particular, how many usage done, how many samples left, how many working standards left, how many columns left, we should have that inventory. So that inventory can be also taken care by the LIMS. Manual and electronic data entry. So like these both the functionalities have here. If the LIMS is integrated with the equipment or instrument, electronic data entry can be captured, and manual data entry, if the integration is not there, the user have to go there and he have to enter the data, right? So after method management, personal and workload management. So there are some rules, or there are some roles into the LIMS for single personnel. So he can track his work throughout the his day. Like suppose one analyst assign 3 tests to perform, so he will know which test he have to be assigned or he have to be performed. So on like that we can manage the workload of that particular analyst, particular personnel also. Quality assurance and control, reports, time tracking, traceability, and workflows. So like here we have the functionalities like quality assurance and control, because there are workflows. After that workflow only sample getting released. After that review part and validation part, it is getting approved, and then only that sample is getting released, right? So after the release of that sample, reports can be generated, like COA that can be generated after the release of the sample. Time also can be tracked, how much time it required to perform one particular analysis. Traceability is also there, and workflows, we have to follow the workflows also. Okay, so let me take a pause here, and please, if you have any question, please ask here. Any inputs from you also will be appreciated. Hello?
Nothing, sir. Go ahead.
Okay.
Understood.
No question, please.
Okay. Okay, so let's move forward and let's see what are the advantages and disadvantages of LIMS, right? So from the advantages, this is the very fast report access and queries, right? So LIMS can give very fast report access. It have the like it is storing the reports, although it is storing all the life cycle of the particular analysis, and it have the report generation also. So we can very fastly access that report. By one click only we can get any report we want, right? Reduction of paperwork. So like I said in the previous laboratory is doing all the paperwork. Sometimes water spillage is also there, like some solutions also getting spilled onto that worksheets, manual worksheets, and all the results were gone. All the hard work done by that analyst is gone. So that comes to under deviation or anything that is happened. So this LIMS have that advantage that it reduce the paperwork. Since this is automated, it improves the data quality. So this leads to the reduction in the errors, because it have the multiple checks, multiple parameters to reduce the errors. Analyst cannot enter the wrong data. If you try to enter the wrong data, system will not allow him to enter the wrong data. So it will automatically improve the quality of the data. Then it improved the operational efficiency. It also improves the operational efficiency, like because we have already predefined workflow, so every analyst should go through that workflow only. Every sample should go through that workflow only, so it can be traceable anywhere. Simple to use Excel like formulas. So biggest challenge here, like so in some automated systems, there are some biggest challenge like how to use the formula, how to fill the calculations, how to use the calculations, right? So here are very simple Excel like formulas we have to enter here. That formula should be validated, and that formula should be already validated, and that can be used by entering into the LIMS. So this increase the productivity, reduction of routine tasks, right? So we already have parameters already fed into the LIMS. We already have the calculations. We don't have to get the calculator. We don't have to do it manually. Automatically, it will reduce our time and increase our productivity, right? Productivity gains, instrument interfacing, and auto reporting. So like I said, if the instrument interfacing is there with the LIMS, automatically all the results from that instrument is getting populated into LIMS, and it is very time saving, and nobody can interfere with that results. Cannot that results cannot be tempered, cannot be changed. It comes directly from the instrument to LIMS. So integration with other department or business systems, like I said, we can integrate with other ERP systems also, like SAP. Basically, the SAP will have the all the inventory related task. It will create the GRNs, it will create the item codes, and that can be flowed through the MM through from MM to QC. It will from MM it will till in SAP it will have the SAP, but after getting that sample into the quality control, then the next part it should be the LIMS, right? All the quality control activity will be performed in the LIMS. So that integration is also there. So increases throughput, avoids duplication. Like we already have the parameters here. We already have the validated formulas here. Already have the pre-approved master data already there. So it will avoid the duplication. It will not allow user to create the duplicate. Each field will be the unique. The mandatory field cannot be changed, cannot be duplicate. So that is the functionality of the functionality and advantage of the LIMS. So return on investment is typically within a year. So any laboratory which implement these LIMS will have the return on investment within a year. So they automatically they will increase their productivity. They can reduce their errors. They will have less deviations, like all the time. Whatever the time they are spending with all the reduction of errors, that will be saved, and they will see the return on investment in 1 year, right? So like there are some disadvantages of LIMS also. Biggest disadvantage of LIMS is personal training is required. Suppose there is one person who is working in the laboratory from last 25 years or 20 years, you can say, and he is doing all the manual work throughout his career. But now the management decided to implement the LIMS, and now he have to learn that LIMS, and he have to do all the task into the particular software. So throughout his 20 years of career, he was used to do the manual work, but suddenly management forced him to do that use the software. So that is very difficult for him to get into that new system. So it is very time taken to adapt the new system, right? So it also the cost, purchase, and maintenance are the most expensive part of the computer system, and the cost can be prohibitive in some settings also. So like here, the maintenance support from the IT industry, the implementation, the cost purchase from the IT industries, that are the very costly, right? So it is not just like that. After implementation, that IT part is not over, because their pharma company or any laboratory also needs support after the implementation also, right? So that is also very costly. So there are some physical restrictions also, like like the manual worksheet we can take from any place to another place, but this cannot be taken, right? So these are the physical restrictions. Need for backup system. All computer information must be carefully backed up. So this particular system required a very huge database to store all the information, and and need a very huge backup system. So loss of data due to damaged disk or system crash cannot be tolerated. So there are minimal chances of this getting the storage hampered or disk damaged. So it will lead to the crash of the data, and all the data can be erased. So that is the disadvantage of LIMS. But this is the very minimalist of chance. Any question here? Okay, let's move forward. Okay. So this LIMS comes under the category 4 as per the GAM 5. So as you know, there are 4 categories into the GAM 5. So this is the basically configuration software, right? This can be configured according to the industry usage, right? Why? Because it can be configured for the industries for their intended use. So this can be configured, and according to particular laboratory. So each laboratory, each pharmaceutical industry have the different functions, different testing approaches, different guidelines, and they have to follow that. So according to that, this can be this particular software LIMS can be configured. General LIMS contain 4 different types of environments, which includes development environment. This environment, see, basically this is the 4 environments we use particularly in the implementation of the LIMS. First is development, second is static, third is validation or quality, and fourth one production environment, right? So when any laboratory decide to implement the LIMS in their particular premises or laboratories, we cannot go ahead and implement directly on the production server. There should be staging, development, static environment, validation or validation and quality environment should be first there. After that, the production environment will come, right? So let's see each environment. So development environment, code testing, and configuring the software based on the URS. So before starting the implementation, user should prepare the URS, and according to that URS only, this development environment will be configured and developed. After that, it will move to static environment. The static environment will contain the creation of master data like analysis, product, sample plan, item code, instrument, and all the inventory data. Okay, so basically IQ will be performed here in on the development and static environment, right? After that, it will move to the validation or quality. Some can say validation environment, or some can say quality environment. So this two will then move to this environment, testing of all modules functionalities based on the approved URS and FRA by using approved test protocols and test scripts. So basically OQ will be, operational qualification will be performed here on the validation environment. Okay. After the successful completion of the OQ, then this all the data will move to production environment, which is the real-time data, which cannot be changed once implemented, right? So this is the real-time data we can call production environment. This environment is end user environment. After successful completion of quality testing, end user will perform the PQ, performance qualification, by supporting from LIMS core team. So the user will have the one LIMS core team. They will go through all these particular environments, and then they will test this particular production environment, and they will perform the PQ, and then we can say that this particular LIMS is implemented. Then LIMS is having different types of modules based on the quality lab business processes, which includes lot management. So these are the modules available into the this lab LIMS. First one is lot management. Second one is inventory management. Third one is instrument management. Fourth one is stability management. Fifth one is environmental monitoring, and sixth is micro inventory management. Right. So let's see one by one. Lot management will contain all the raw material, packing material, in process, recovered solvents, and finished products, lot creation to CO generation and release of that particular lot. So all the life cycle of that particular sample will be having this lot management. Then comes to the inventory management. It will have the chemicals, reagents, indicator, standard solutions, volumetric solutions, standards like working standard, reference standard, calibration standard, other sensory standard, primary standards, registration of new inventories, and qualifying of those for routine usage in the laboratory workflow. Like I said, this will store all the data related to that particular inventory. Sorry. Then comes next instrument management. It will have all the master data related to that particular instrument. Like I said, there will be the calibration schedule, preventing maintenance schedule, and PV schedule, instrument samples logging based on their schedule frequency, allocating, analyzing, reviewing, and usage. Right. So all the instrument related data can be handled through this instrument management. Then comes the stability management, creation and approval of study, stability schedule, samples logging, analyzing, reviewing, approving, and generation of stability summary report. So all the stability related analysis, stability related protocols will be handled in this particular module, which is called stability management. Okay. Then comes to the environmental monitoring. It will have the scheduling, allocating, sampling, analyzing, review and generation of environmental trend reports. Right. Then next part is micro inventory management. So this is related to the micro laboratory, which will have the media culture identification and in-house isolated registration and usage of those inventories in environmental monitoring module workflow based on the user requirements. Okay, so these total 6 modules will be available into the LabViewer LIMS. So anybody have any question here? Till now? I'm not getting any response. Please speak up. Any question? Okay. Okay, so let's see the next slide. So this master data management plays a very important key role into the LIMS after successful deployment of the production environment, right? So master data contains analysis, product, sample plan, item code, instrument, inventories, suppliers, units, process unit, and schedule, etc. Each and every master data object should be validated in validation environment, and it shall be migrated to production environment by using data migration procedure. Like I said, after the OQ, at the quality environment, all the master data will be created, tested, validated, and then all the master data will be moved from quality environment to production environment for the usage of the end user. Okay. After that comes to the LIMS roles. Roles should be validated based on the lab business process before releasing the system to end user, which includes that. So there are multiple roles available into the LIMS according to the job level of the particular personnel. So first will be the analyst. All the analysts will have the login for the analyst only. Then after that, QC supervisor. So QC supervisor will have the role of the analyst also and QC supervisor also, but analyst will not have the role of QC supervisor. it will have the role and rights of the analysts only, but a QC supervisor will have the rights of analyst also. After that comes to the QC reviewer. The QC reviewer also same like it is just a stepping up. So the QC reviewer will also have the rights of supervisor and analyst, but these both cannot have the rights of the reviewer, right? Like this. So after the QC reviewer comes to the QA reviewer. Then after that QA approver, after that QCM supervisor, and then QCM reviewer, and then inventory manager. So this is the this perform the workflow into the life cycle of the particular sample. After that we have the inventory manager who will take care of all the inventory like working standard, stock standard, columns, like this. And then we will have the system administrator. So this particular system administrator role will have all these rights. It will have all these rights, and he will work as an administrator for that particular LIMS software. Okay. So any question here into LIMS roles? Okay. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, so throughout this course, we will see LIMS modules. In the day one, we will see the flow chart of LIMS. We will see the URS, user requirement specification. Then we will see how to create LIMS master data, like analysis, product, sample plan, item code, like this, test plans. This is the master data. In day two, we will see LIMS GXP assessment, validation plan, FRA, FRS, IQ, OQ, and PQ. How to create LIMS master data inventory. In day three, we will see the configuration testing in development environment, functional testing in quality environment, UAT testing in production environment, and basic awareness of crystal reports. Okay. In day four, we will see how to prepare the LIMS validation summary report, environmental monitoring module workflow. Then day 5 we will see LIMS architecture, creation of master data inventory and inventory management workflow. Day 6 we will see lot management workflow, laboratory workflow, and master data instrument creation and instrument management workflow. After that, in the day 7 we will see stability management introduction, stability storage, location management, and stability management entire workflow, right? So after that, day 8 we will see the administration activities like user management, data migration, object package creation, installation, and scheduler management in LIMS, investigation management LIMS, right? So we come to the conclusion here. A computerized system for laboratory data is often called laboratory information management system and is referred to be by the acronyms LIMS, right, or LIS. The use of computerized system is becoming more common in laboratories around the world, since this is the requirement from the regulatory bodies also. And appropriately designed and installed LIMS brings accuracy and accessibility to the flow of samples and data in the clinical laboratories. Okay, so here the demonstration ends. So please, if you have any questions, all the questions are welcome. Anybody have any question?
Yes, sir. I have one question. Hello?
Yes.
And
Hello.
administration. Hello. In LIMS administration, for an example, instrument integration. Parser script can be covered in this session.
Your voice is breaking. Can you please come again?
Audible?
Yes, it's audible, but it's breaking.
Okay, so in LIMS administration, for instrument integration, parser script is there, right? For creation of parser script, how it will work, that part can be covered.
Yes, yes, that also will be covered.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, if nothing from your side, we can wind up the session. And again, on the behalf of Company Connect Consultancy, thanks all of you to join this particular demo session. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Bye.